Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Loan Officer Wealth Podcast. We are joined today by Kimber White. Kimber, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me and having me here.
Well, it is fantastic. So, for those of our listeners who may not know you, even though you are incredibly well known within the industry, can you give us a little bit about your background and an outline of what your business looks like now?
Yes, I'm been in the mortgage industry for 35 years. 36 years now, and I am a partner with RA Financial Services. I am a past president of the National Association of Mortgage Brokers and current vice president for the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. And right now we're still going and still doing good volume and moving along. And for me, I got a small office of 3 that we are actually full broker shop. And so we're an independent mortgage broker.
That is amazing. How long have you been a broker?
36 years since the beginning. I've always been a broker. Only when the old days of net branches. If everyone remembers those, that's how long ago it goes. But we've always been working for a broker shop. Always been a broker. Never worked for retail or anyone in a correspondent side. I've always been a broker.
And where are you located?
Oh, I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Fort Lauderdale. Do you do business just in your location, or are you spread out?
The entire state of Florida.
Entire state of Florida. Okay, amazing, awesome. We're in a very interesting business cycle right now. You've been through a ton of them.
Yeah.
What is your advice for people in the mortgage industry today for the cycle that we're going through?
I think the cycle that we're going through is unique. I don't think we've ever seen a cycle like this. And the reason I say that is because we don't have to where the housing market's going to crash. People have more equity than in the history of anywhere that I've seen since I've been in this business. There's more equity, including the days that we had, I call it inflated equity of the early 2000s. But people still have more equity, but the market is stable. Things have been put in place with the Dodd-Frank after the crash, that we're not going to have another crash. So for people worrying about a lot of foreclosures, I need to say that up front. There's so much of it going around right now. Oh my gosh, get ready for the foreclosure. I saw someone saying, oh, I got my short sale certification. No, there is going to be some of that, but it's not going to be like it was before. There's too much equity. But what I see right now in the market, we have such a wealth inequality, not just a minority inequality, which we do have, but we have a wealth inequality. I think it's the largest wealth inequality I've seen since I've been in the mortgage industry. And that's what needs to be closed. And we have to figure out as an industry, as professionals in this business, how can we help close that gap? How can we bring the programs? So that's the uniqueness that we're in right now. And there's still no inventory. And people still can't afford because the wealth inequality has outstripped the cost of the house and residence. So we now have to even learn how to be more creative. And in this industry, more than ever, we have to have more tools in our toolbox than we've ever had before.
Yep, I could not agree more. And so we're still seeing some of our members inside the Mortgage Marketing Animals and the Freedom Club and in our AI inner circle that are still growing. I mean, we had one member, in January, she had no loans. This month, she's got 10 that she's going to be closing, still growing. But I think the thing that was very interesting about that is almost all niche specific, like some refinances, but she found a niche, kind of doubled down on that niche, focused on that type of business, and has really flourished because she's become known as the broker or lender in that space. And she's specifically working with realtors that are working with investors, and they're trying to snap up properties in today's market. So what is some of your advice for how people in the mortgage industry can be taking advantage of new tools, pivoting?
I think that what I find, and I'll give a little bit about my history as far as when people are talking about there is no business, it's not there. So I want to put that myth to bed. It's not that it's not hard, okay? It's not that it's not difficult. And I say every loan we're doing, it's like doing 3 today. So I will say that's where we're at across the market. But In comparison, last year I did 160 some loans. That was for a little over $50 million. I will close this month 10 loans. I'll close 10 next month. I have 4 so far going into January. But I will finish my year with over $50 million in production. And I've consistently done that for 10 years. So the market, as you said, is still there. And about 125, 126 loans. So the market is there.
Yep.
But it is a specialty market. And the biggest, and when I say specialty, knowledgeable, the biggest problem I've seen over the course of 19 to 22, you were taught to go out there and sell.
Yeah.
Let someone else worry about your products on the back end. Let someone inside be the person who's the specialist about how you're going to get the loan put in, how you're going to get the loans in. Now, of course, you should have your processor. But if you are not knowledgeable about new products, using the non-QM, the parts of the Airbnb income, different types, the investor, the flips. If you're not knowledgeable on your products today, somebody else is, because now more than ever, realtors, partners, buyers, they want answers. They don't want to wait till you get back to the office to give them an answer. They want answers and knowledge. And it's a combination. So to me, more than ever, I think the knowledge is one of the most important parts. And the tools in your toolbox, non-QM, bank statement loans. We're looking at the first-time home buyers, 100% financing. Things, FHAs, which, you never thought would be down to 100% financing again on FHA, to a 580 credit score. Those type things. But we have to know how to do them. And we have to educate ourselves and also be out there more than ever educating yourself. Going to these events. I hear people, I don't have time because I'm trying to put my business. I can't afford to. No, you can't afford not to.
Yep, absolutely. And so, and I love that, because being first to market and standing in today's market of being an educator, having tools like social media, having the ability to just turn your cell phone around, have just learned a guideline and how to work a product, and to be able to effectively convey that to thousands of people in a local marketplace that are in that particular niche. We're in a brand new way of marketing and advertising and getting that message out. So do you have specific products that you really like in today's marketplace, or that you think need to be focused on?
Yeah, I think the marketplace right now is definitely for Florida. I hope they bring back more of the Hometown Heroes program. I mean, we all know that that's an amazing market. And when they opened it up to everyone, why it was bad, it was good also. I think that's a great market. You're talking about your Home Ready, your Home Possibles. Those are great programs, your DPAs. If you're not doing a DPA, you need to learn how to do DPA. For me, DSCRs, more than ever. And I will tell you, I did not do my first DSCR loan, really do them. Like I do one here or there, and I'll be like, goodness gracious, we got to do a DSCR. I don't want to deal with this. Now, I'm doing like 13, 14 DSCRs. Because people are self-employed. They love it. Equity. Another one I just learned today. Bank statement, equity line of credit fixed. I mean, I didn't know that existed. Fixed line that's on 12-month bank statements. 12-month line that's either can do P&L. It can, you can do a P&L second equity line. You can do a self-employed. You can do bank statement. I learned all that today.
Wow.
So I mean, to me, it's like, oh, really? I look at this guy, I'm like, you're not getting second equity line of credit on your primary residence for this. And I call, well, let me make calls. So I think bigger, don't ever say you don't, that you can't do it. Jumbo products are starting to come back, because we as brokers didn't have any competition in jumbos. We're starting to see some of the products coming back, being offered, and I don't want to take the time, but I'll just elaborate of why people need to hunt. And I call that hunt, because 2 weeks ago, I got a call from a borrower. I have a $2.2 million purchase. I'm going to Chase. I'm going to XYZ retail lender. I'm putting 25% down. Can you do the loan? Well, you know what I thought in my head as a mortgage broker? Heck no. I'm going to get beat. It's going to crap. It's going to happen. But I went on to my social media sites, the groups that I'm members of, And I started putting out there and started calling all of my lenders and said, can you do this, this, this? And of course, someone gave it. I'm like, I'm not even competitive. Then one of my wholesale lenders, comes out and goes, hey, Kimber, I saw this, and I know, and this is one of my preferred lenders. We got this this special program coming out, Champions Jumbo. It's supposed to be amazing. It's coming out in 2 days. Now, I had built a rapport with that borrower who wanted to use me, but I'm honest. I can't beat the rate. I can't beat what they want to offer. I'm half point off. But I said, can you wait 2 days? Let's see what we've got. We're closing in 2 weeks. And that's only because I didn't say no, I can't do it. I went, and it gives, maybe at the same time, it gives us all a little bit more of, instead of just pushing that loan off, whatever it may be. We know this, hey, it's a loan, it's our market, we're a little slow. But at the same time, I think it gives us a little more of, hey, let's dig a little deeper.
Yep. 100%. And so when you get into a scenario like that, there's so much to unpack here. It's so, well, first off, Kimber, how much of your business is referral based with realtors and how much of it is past customer database? Roughly, what's the breakdown of where your business comes from?
It's about 60-40 right now. 60% realtors, 40% referral database. It's 100%, and this is something I want people to know. 100% referral.
Yep.
100.
That's amazing. I want to talk to you about your Google reviews, but that's a conversation for another time. But that's absolutely incredible. So you get a borrower like that, absolute home run.
Yeah.
You're able to get the right product, you're able to fit the scenario, everything comes together. Are you then taking that and leaning on that borrower for like, who do you know? Can you send me referrals? What does that look like? Then do you have a campaign to go to the realtor of like, hey, we were able to put this deal together. Do you have more of these people? What does that look like in your business once you have that opportunity?
So me, we have the opportunity and we get it done. Then when we get ready to close, we follow up. After closing, then I will call them, thank them, and ask them, do they know 3 people?
Okay.
That's looking, or anyone. But I also, at the end of every year, first of the year, send out their closing disclosure for tax purposes, so they remember who I am.
Got it.
And I call them and thank them. And then I always call the thing is, the listing agent knows me from day one.
Right.
Because as soon as that offer goes in, I call the listing agent. Period, said, done. I've emailed the listing agent, called the listing agent, told them who I am, gave them my credentials, and gave them the borrower's credentials.
Yeah.
And 9 out of 10, I get those. Then I follow up with that listing agent and send an email thanking them for the business. I appreciated working with them. And then can we go into a campaign to work with them together? We've just started going on for a refinance campaign. Why, guys? Let me say this. If you don't have set up some type of CRM or some type of drip campaign for your refinances, we, all of us, are going to get caught with our pants down like we were in 2020, chasing the low-hanging fruit while our realtors are doing sales because the sales are going to come back, and we're not going to be prepared. And by the time we call that bar, and I was guilty, that bar was going to say, I'm sorry, Kimber, I know I really thought about you, but so-and-so called me first, I just did it. And none of us can say we didn't do that. So we need to start preparing for that time now. And I think, to me, that's why this drip campaign is so important. That's why I talked about using things that's out on social media and marketing and making sure. And then I hired a loan officer assistant 4 years ago because of NAMB. And it was like, I can't afford to have a loan officer assistant. No, you can't afford not to have a loan officer assistant. That is the best investment I've made. That person makes me money because they help follow up. They help do the marketing. They help make sure I'm in front of people. So you can't afford to, but you can't afford not to invest in your business.
Yep, I could not agree. And we've got to be ahead of this. When we were discussing before the episode, you had a great analogy that, maybe a year ago, we were all staring down the headlights of a train.
Yes.
And now we're on the other side of it. And we're riding that train. We're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And if or when those rates tick down even just a quarter point, hang on. And
Right.
those of you, and you just nailed it, a CRM. So we have a brand new CRM product that's totally powered by AI. So it will literally have the conversations with people as they're
Nice.
coming in. It's called Loan Officer CRM.ai. Um, and in there, there's a custom field where you can put the interest rate amount. Like every single person in the mortgage industry should have their database with the interest rate amount that you lock that loan at. And that is your call list. You know,
Yeah.
if you've got 20 minutes at the end of the day, that's the list that you're calling when that happens. And it's the people that are organized, that are ready to go on that stuff, that are going to make that money.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're at, and having something like that that you're talking about, it's going to be amazing. Because now I'm going to look into it with you, and it wasn't because of the call. Because seriously, that is something that's very important, and we have got to be prepared. Because what ended up, everybody's like, why were you successful through after the boom? And I'm going to give a little bit of advice to everyone out there right now. What we ended up doing, a lot of our people in our industry, you chase the low hanging fruit. And we're so busy with your refinances, which is great. You make money when you know, it's all make the money, make hay when it's not raining. But what you did is you killed your relationships with your realtors and your other people
Mm-hmm.
during the mortgage madness of refinance. I can tell you all, I took 20, 25 real estate relationships from you because and I'm not saying because of you, but just from the industry, because I kept made sure that I put my purchase businesses first.
Yep.
And sadly, now on the flip side, I'll admit I probably lost to some of these people that I took to realtors a lot of refinance of
Yep.
my people because I didn't wasn't prepared to do both.
Mm-hmm.
But when the market died, I still have my realtor relationships. And I see
Yep.
that to me was like, okay, but you don't have to have one or the other because we have the time to prepare for what's coming. It's not like it did in 2020 with us when what the heck happened? Pandemic, economy got sick. We had the best mortgage industry we've had. Rates dropped, lowest rates we've had. We weren't prepared because
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have time to prepare because it just hit.
Yep.
You have time to prepare. And I think more than ever, you're slow, you've got business, you're still building your purchase business, but start preparing for your refinance, your database that you have.
I could not agree more. And when you've got the right CRM, you can do both.
Yeah.
You can stack realtor appointments every day, keep in touch with your database, keep in touch with your pre-approved and lookings, make sure that all those referral partners that have sent you business in the last 2 years, you're following up with them. It's all so important to a holistic business. And there was another beautiful analogy, Kimber, that you put in there. And it's like you make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah.
And there are so many people that went into hunting mode when
Yeah.
refinance boom went crazy. And it was just like you could walk into a grocery store and just yell out, like, is anybody interested in a refinance with a pineapple? And
Right.
you might get somebody. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We're farming now.
Yes, we are.
And Jim Rohn has this beautiful saying of whom I'm a huge fan. And it's like, you can't change the seasons. There's always going to be winter. And don't wish that it was easier. Just wish that you were a little bit better. And today's market is an opportunity for us to understand, like, it's the wintertime, but now's where we've cleaned the fields. Now's the time that we start planting seeds, because the seeds that we plant, the organization that we put in place, systems, processes, emails, templates, leaning in on AI, leaning in on those relationships, making sure you've got a process for your database every month. Those are the seeds that we plant today so that we can harvest even more in the future.
Yeah, and I think that's what we have to do. And the greatest thing is, unlike 2020, we have that time now.
That's right. Yep.
We have that time and we have to invest. And then I'm hearing when I'm telling people this, especially, well, I can't afford it.
Mm.
Okay, because I'm not making any money, I can't afford it. Is an extra Starbucks or an extra this or an extra, what is it worth to your business that you're going to build that you know you're going to get? And that is something that we all have to look at. our business worth. No matter if you work, I don't care if you work for a company, I don't care if you're a loan originator, I don't care if you're self-employed, like a mortgage broker business, you're still working for yourself. This is your business. Call it
Mm.
what you want. It is your business. It is like I call it insurance. It's your book of business. It's how you're going to take care of it. It's what you're going to do. Are you going to feed, you're going to feed your family first, but are you feeding your business?
Yeah.
And if you're not feeding your business properly, you're not going to feed your family, and you're not going to feed yourself when it comes to the fun things that you want to do and the nice stuff. You have to have a balance of all of it. And I think that so many right now of us have got, and I see it, it's bad. It's going to be a horrible winter. This is opportunities.
That's right.
And I'm the first one to sit and go, dear God, I'm not doing 14 loans a month. I'm not doing 20. But then I'm like, okay, am I paying my bills? Am I surviving? Am I preparing myself? And what more can I do to now really start? As I told you earlier, I'm using, example, I mean, another company, I'm using more social media. I'm like, did I think I'd ever have the opportunity to go and use something like a room view, which is just someone to do something for me, or an AI? No, I didn't, because I was just so worried about this and that and the other and so busy. Now I'm like, okay, it's forced me to go, all right, I need to look at your AI. I need to look at the room view. I need to look at these other businesses. I need to look at how I can better myself because I have time to do that.
Yeah. Oh man, that is so well put. And Kimber, I know how busy you are. So thank you for being so
Welcome.
generous with your time today. For those of you that are interested in more information about you, potentially about NAMB, where do people go to get information about you?
Okay, well, me, it's kimber.lmt@gmail.com is my email if you want to email, or RE Financial. Go to my website, RE Financial. And if you want to NAMB, www.namb.org. You can also email me and ask about NAMB. There again, if I may plug NAMB real quick, one of the biggest things for your industry is tools and education.
Mhm.
And we have an example. We have our NAMB Focus coming up in January. And in January, what do we got? Higher education. We're talking about marketing. We're talking Carl White. We're talking about so many you. I mean, this is what it is. It's tools to grow your business. It's tools to prepare you. It's tools to get you prepared and to continue. And if you're not doing that now, you're not going to be ready and going and using you're not going to be ready whenever that spring comes, whenever the harvest comes. So we need to be ready for it. And the last thing I want to say to someone, and when I got time, is don't look at if someone's doing, and I hear this, oh my gosh, but I'm not the big producer who's doing 800 loans a month. I hear that all the time. Or I'm not doing 100 loans. We all have a bucket that we're comfortable with. You don't have to, we're unique. And I see this so much, and I tell people, you don't have to do 35 loans a month. You don't have to do 500 loans a year. It's what you want, and it's what you set your goals for. And that's the other thing. It's the end of 2023. What are your personal goals? What are your business goals? How are you going to use your business goals to obtain your personal goals? How are you going to incorporate your business goals in your personal goals? And how are you going to make sure that when this hits again, that you're balancing it all? But the biggest thing is plan now. This is the end of the year. It's time to start planning and start getting yourself going.
That is amazing, Kimber. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
For all y'all listening, all of those links are in the show notes, and make sure you hit us up with a 5-star review on iTunes. Again, Kimber White, thank you so much for being
Thank
on
you,
the show,
Chris.
and thank you for listening.